All right. Is he going to bother the dog?
No, he's fine.
Okay. So we're ready to roll?
Yes.
My name is Robby Dinero, and I'm the owner of Athletes Unleashed Incorporated.
Well, first I want to just thank you for your service. For
You're
your
welcome.
14 years in the Marines.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for fighting for us and for our country. And
That's very kind. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And I know that the Marines actually celebrated their anniversary November 10th.
Yes.
So what did you do as far as activities? Partake in any activities?
Absolutely. Every Marine, everywhere around the world, no matter what they're doing, stops on November 10th and celebrates the birthday. Back in November 10th, 2004, I was actually in Afghanistan. I was in the middle of a mortar battle, and we stopped to have cake while we were sending rounds downrange. So nothing changes. This November 10th, I was doing a workout for the Marine Corps birthday with a couple of my friends.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah.
So can you tell people how the last year has been for your business?
Yes, how's the last year been for my business? It has been very challenging, very rewarding. It has certainly tested the mettle of this place and our ability to keep things afloat. Corona has certainly made it very challenging to maintain the business. And really not even Corona. It's the government's response to Corona that has made it challenging because they continue to shut us down or try to shut us down. They've spread a lot of fear and I believe misinformation about the China virus, and so people are very scared, and that's putting them in a position where they're not living their lives as they normally would. And when people stop living their lives and interacting with one another, it affects businesses and frames of mind across the full spectrum of our life. So it's been very challenging because of the misinformation that's out there.
How has it affected your family?
How has the Wuhan affected my family?
Yes.
That's a really good question. Physically, not much at all. I mean, I am a fairly strong figure. I'm a strong leader of my family. And I teach my kids that you never, ever cower to anything. Everybody has fear, but courage is action in the face of fear. So I teach my kids to be courageous, that life has to continue to be lived no matter what the circumstances are, so nothing changes for us. Roger, there's a virus out there, we might get sick, okay, but that doesn't stop us from living our lives to the fullest. That doesn't change anything. When terrorism strikes, what do people do? They don't stop going to movie theaters. They don't stop running the Boston Marathon. They don't hide in their basements. They live their lives proudly, freely. So I teach my kids, just because there's a chance of injury, a chance of becoming ill, you can't stop living your life.
What drove you to file the lawsuit against the state?
I'm sorry, would you say that again?
What drove you to file the lawsuit against
Okay.
New York State?
Your question is, what got me to file a lawsuit against New York State? That's a short question with a long answer. There's a lot of history there. I didn't like what the state was doing. They continued to shut business down. Not just my business, they were shutting down businesses. There were, I think, unreasonable mandates, telling people they had to wear masks, and just lots of unreasonable infringements on our rights. I am a firm believer in our free will and our free nature. Every man is created equal. We were endowed with certain inalienable rights by our Creator: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right? And, to protect those rights, we create government, and that government is supposed to protect the right. And in the Declaration of Independence, it says very clearly, if the government no longer protects those rights or starts to infringe those rights, it's our duty to make a change. So the government kept infringing upon our rights, taking away our ability to earn a living, while at the same time allowing protesters to protest certain other things they didn't like. Whether it's BLM, Antifa, right-wing Republicans, left-wing Democrats, certain people got to protest. Whether or not I agreed with the protests are irrelevant. Certain people got to protest, but I couldn't go to work and open my business. So I felt that was wrong and I needed to do something about it. So I decided to have a protest here in my gym. The health department showed up with armed sheriffs and tried shutting us down. We kicked them out, and then they issued me a fine, a $15,000 fine for protesting, for having an organized protest. And I felt that was wrong because If you're outside in the streets throwing bricks and burning houses down, that's okay to protest. If you come into my gym and try to organize in a peaceful fashion how to redress grievances against the government, the health department showed up and shut us down. So I felt there was some inapplication or unjust application of the law. So I decided to do something about it, and I reached out to Paul Cambria, and he agreed, and he wanted to take the case. And so we went ahead and fought the state, and we asked for a couple of things. We asked that I should be able to open up my business to 100% capacity because the government can't prove that me being open at 100% capacity is causing the spread of the China virus. The second thing we were asking for is that the mandates be struck down because of the lack of constitutionality at the state level in which they were enacted. The state constitution allows the legislature to give the governor emergency powers for up to 30 days. After those 30 days, the governor must convene a special session of legislature to ask for another 30 days of power. He didn't do that. What the legislature did back around March or April of 2000, they just passed a law saying we no longer are going to legislate. They legislated their responsibility to legislate away and said, hey, governor, you got it for the next year. You get to make all the rules. So my argument is there may very well, maybe we have to have mandates. Maybe we have to have certain procedures in place to deal with the virus. The governor should not be able to do it by executive fiat. The legislature, the very people we pay to write laws, should have to vote on it and put their asses on the line, right? They got to put their name to that bill instead of just letting the governor do whatever the hell he wants for a year and washing their hands up and saying, hey, it wasn't us, it was the governor. I want the legislatures to have to put their name on every single mandate that they're enacting so that when they're shutting down businesses like me and then they come asking for money for the re-election campaign, they're not going to get that money. So my point is they will be more apt to enact legislation that we can live with because they've got to get elected. I know that was a really long answer. That's the history and the thought process behind the lawsuit. And that lawsuit is actually coming on the 23rd. It's 23rd of February.
Okay, that was going to be my next question because I saw that there was a second part to the lawsuit and there was a court hearing. Was that this week?
It's gotten really crazy. So December 23rd, we went to the state Supreme Court asking for us to be open at 100% capacity and to strike down the mandates. The state Supreme Court judge granted us, he gave us an injunction against the state, and he said we could be open at 100%, but he was going to reserve judgment on the second issue, the constitutionality of it, until he heard further arguments. So he wanted to grant the state the opportunity to build their case against what we were claiming. He wanted the state to show him why it was constitutional what he was doing. And that's coming up on the 23rd. Between the December 23rd and February 23rd, the state decided to come after me, claiming that I wasn't following their mandates. And so they requested, believe it or not, an emergency restraining order against me. This is how crazy the state is and how crazy the overreach is getting. The state's argument is they suspected that I was not following the mandates. They suspected that because of my social media posts. It's funny that you asked me about the Marine Corps birthday. I had posted a picture maybe 2 weeks ago from November 10th when I was in here with some of my friends celebrating the Marine Corps birthday. We weren't wearing masks because I wasn't open for business. We were socially distanced. It's my friends and I working out. I can do whatever the hell I want. And so I posted a picture of us afterwards standing together, and the state used that as proof that I wasn't following mandates. The second picture that they used as proof that I was not following the mandates was from my twin 7-year-old boy's birthday party. I had a birthday party for him in here, and they were claiming that I wasn't following the mandates because I had a birthday party. Now, I had less than 10 people. It was after business hours. I wasn't teaching a class. It's my building. I can do whatever the hell I want in my building, and I was having a birthday party for my kids. So the state, because they suspected me of not following the mandates, went to the judge, asked for an emergency restraining order stating with the intent to force me to follow the rules that they think I might not be following. That's akin to a police officer going to a judge and saying, I think he might be speeding, so I want an emergency restraining order against him, forcing him to follow the law. It's crazy. So the judge struck that down. He saw the judge again saw the lack of viability to their argument and the fact that I was following the mandates, and these pictures don't prove anything, and so that got struck down. So now we're coming back on the 23rd, and we're going to try to strike down the mandates and force the legislatures to do their job and give everybody their freedom back.
Do you think Governor Cuomo was behind the issuing of the restraining order?
Your question is, do I think Governor Cuomo directly was like, hey, let's get a restraining order on him? I'm small beans. I doubt it. Whether he knows who I am or not, I have no idea. I know I've been a big pain in his butt, but whether he did that or not, I don't know. I just know the government, New York State, wanted a restraining order against me.
And how do you feel about the fine from Erie County?
The fine from Erie County, the $15,000 fine that I got for having a protest, it's really ludicrous that the government, the same government that is living off our tax dollars, that doesn't have to earn it, doesn't have to produce anything. Like Gail Burstein and her health inspectors, I'm not judging what's in their heart. I'm not calling out their personal character. They don't have to produce anything. They live off the public dole. She's walking around, sending inspectors around, while we're paying them to tell me I can't earn. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. How can a government do that to their people? Make an outlaw out of a hardworking American. Moms and dads everywhere that just want to put food on our table, and they want to make us outlaws. I would say this to them: when they want to fine me $15,000 for doing my job, sit down at my kitchen table. Well, Gail Burstein should sit down at the kitchen table with her $500,000 salary, $300,000 of which was in overtime, and ask my kids if I'm essential. Ask Rex if I'm essential. Ask Rocco if I'm an essential worker. Ask Victor if I'm an essential worker. Ask my daughter Olivia if I'm an essential worker. Ask them if I'm essential, or if I should be fined $15,000 for working hard to put food on the table. And then she can go cash her $500,000 salary that she took out of our pockets. That's how I feel about the $15,000 fine. That's why I tore it up on national news. And when they sent me a second copy of it, I went on Facebook Live and I set it on fire. They haven't talked to me since. I haven't gotten another fine since. I said on Fox News, and I'll say it again here, I will never pay that fine. I will sit in jail before they ever get any money. They will never get money from me. They'll have to seize my bank account. They'll have to take my building. I will never give them $15,000, ever. It's never going to happen. Does that answer your question?
What do you think about the GoFundMe that was set up in support of you?
What do I think about the GoFundMe account? That is a very, very difficult thing for me to accept. I'm an infantry officer. I was a Marine Corps officer for 14 years. I'm an American. We work hard. We're independent. We don't need help from people. To humble myself and receive that help, it was hard to do. It's emotional to know that people are that supportive and believe in me. I can do a lot of great things with that. So far, Paul Cambria is the best of the best. The best comes at a cost. He's not overcharging. Trust me, he's worth every penny. You know what I mean, this isn't like a dig on people that charge for their service. Hell, I charge a premium for my services in here, but when you come into my gym, you get the absolute best, and I deserve to earn the money I do in it, and Paul deserves to earn the money he does. It's expensive. The nice thing is, the GoFundMe account continues to get funded. Paul is being very generous in his representation of me. I'm sure he could be charging far more than he has charged me so far. I think he's being very generous in how he's choosing to help me. But I would not be able to fight without that GoFundMe. That being said, whatever is, it's an open book. Like, I'm not. Anybody can audit the expenditures and keeping track of the expenditures that I send him, and any amount of money that isn't used on this directive will help other businesses do the same thing. We're going to use it to help other businesses fight whatever they need to fight.
So we can see that your business is clean, and you are operating at full capacity.
Yes.
What measures are you taking? What further measures are you taking to protect yourself and your clients?
Your question is, what further measures am I taking to protect? I'm not taking any further measure. We follow the mandates. We socially distance. People wear masks, and we clean our gear. That's what we've always done: clean the gear. You can tell the facility. You want to learn about a gym? Go into a gym's bathroom. Like walk into a bathroom in the gym, and that'll tell you everything you need to know about how clean a gym is. Walk into my bathrooms, you'll see how clean this facility is. It's spotless. It's spotless. We've had 0 cases of the China virus tracked back to us. 0. We had 0 cases. Yeah, fitness centers are not an issue. I don't even think the Wuhan virus is an issue. Like, come on, the flu is gone now. There's no more flu. Give me a break. This is, come on. So, Chastity.
I don't think you like that last question.
In my hand. In my hand. In my hand. I'm not throwing it unless you put it in my hand. Good boy.
One of Cuomo's senior advisors issued a statement regarding businesses that did not want to enforce the mandates, and he called it quote unquote crackpot logic. What are your thoughts on that?
What are my thoughts on a senior governor, Governor Cuomo was one of his advisors, saying it's crackpot logic not to enforce the mandates?
Yes.
Okay, I believe in freedom. I don't care whether you're Republican, Democrat, like liberal, conservative. This has nothing to do with politics. This has everything to do with freedom. I always go back to that argument. It's freedom. You can't pick and choose. You can't pick and choose when you're free and when you're not free. You can't pick and choose who gets to be free and who doesn't get to be free. You're either embracing freedom or you're not. And freedom implies risk. Freedom, servitude is very safe, but it's not very rewarding. Freedom implies risk, but that's the beauty of freedom. I mean, that's the beauty of being free. So I don't enforce, I'm not the mask police. I don't tell people to wear masks. I believe in free will, and I am following the mandates because my lawyer, I'm a man of my word, and in order for Paul Cambria to look me in the eye and be able to represent me, he needs to know that I'm following the mandates for him. So I gave him my word. Until February 23rd, we will follow the mandates. When we're in class, we wear a mask, we socially distance, etc. When there's not a class, I don't have to have a mask on, so long as you're 6 feet with the 6 feet of social distance, etc. So I can tell you, whichever way this court case goes after the 23rd, I will not be doing any of these mandates. It's either going to be the judicial process worked out for us, or it didn't, and if it didn't, I'm going to begrudge them that, but then it's time to go back to civil disobedience. And that's what free people do. And I think it's important, especially with me being a Marine, everyone immediately assumes I'm talking about violent protest, get your guns. Listen, I've been all over the world, and I've seen what happens in countries that don't know how to civilly protest. I've seen violence. I've been a part of violence. I understand how to use violence to get what I need. But violence is never the answer here in America. Chesty, you gotta go. Violence is never the answer in America. We're better than that. Civil disobedience is the way the greatest change in the world has come. Think about women's suffrage movement. What did women's suffrage movement do? They marched. They got together and they marched and they were civilly disobedient. What did Rosa Parks do? Oh my God, like that's probably one of the greatest examples of civil disobedience. She was just tired. She's like, listen, some dude is telling me to get up and move to the back of the bus. I've been working all day long. You know what? I'm just not gonna freaking do it. I'm just not getting up. That's civil disobedience, and that created unbelievable change. So that's what I plan on doing. Just continuing to be civilly disobedient until we can get the courts to change things. Yeah, no problem. You said you have a question?